want to share a slideshow of some of the pictures I took at the event today down in Norfolk with us. I've made another Facebook post about this. This was the part of the Hurricane Awareness Tour. It was run by NOAA and the Air Force and the National Hurricane Center. They're bringing two of the aircraft used for hurricane hunting. They actually go into the storms. One is a NOAA plane, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, belongs to them. Another one belongs to the Air Force. Both of them work, side by side in terms of investigating hurricanes and tropical systems. They feed data to the National Hurricane Center, which gives us a better and better forecast because of the work that these folks do with the hurricane hunting aircraft. This is part of a day-long event that was in Norfolk today that included many dignitaries, presentations by the director of the National Hurricane Center, the director of the National Weather Service, Ken Graham, and our own local meteorologist at Wakefield, meteorologist in charge, Jeff Orrick, gave a presentation as well and introduced all the speakers. Bottom line, this picture was as we were waiting in line to tour the first of the planes that was there. This was the plane that belonged to NOAA, and this plane does a lot of research flights, not only hurricane hunting flights, but research flights related to weather, and it investigates winter storms, hurricanes, tropical systems, various things such as gravity even. This crew member on this flight said he just got back from Alaska and said that they were investigating how gravity varies over different parts of the globe, and that's very important. They didn't realize this years ago, but there are variations in gravity based on topography and even oil in the ground and that sort of thing. So very fascinating. These research flights are doing more than just for hurricane reconnaissance, at least the NOAA planes, the ones I'm showing you right here, this one. This is the inside of the plane as we toured it. Pretty bare bones, but it has the comforts as well for the meteorologists and the scientists that are flying these planes. And we met the pilots and the crew and the meteorologists as well. So it was very fascinating getting to speak with them. This is a meteorology workstation on that plane where they can monitor radar and such, helping the navigators kind of go around the worst parts of the storm by looking at the radar, and then they get the data about storms and such and transmit that data to the National Hurricane Center when there are tropical storms and systems. This is, again, another shot from inside the plane. Doesn't look like much, but just interesting. This is the back part of the plane where they just go to relax as they're traveling to locations where they're going to be doing research and investigations. The back part of the plane is just kind of where they can hang out during their downtime. But this is the outside of the plane. Notice it's a prop plane. They use prop planes because they can go at slower velocities, which are needed to investigate systems such as tropical systems. Also can go at various altitudes, whereas higher speed jets would typically go at higher levels of the atmosphere, higher up. And they do have, NOAA also has jets that go just at high altitudes, say 40,000 feet, to investigate tropical systems. One of those was not here today, but these that we saw, this one goes at lower altitudes. And there's another shot of it. Those are some of the speakers at the event today. It doesn't look like a huge crowd in this picture, but believe me, there were hundreds and hundreds of people. This is just the very front of that. And there's that plane in the background. Really cool. This is another plane. This is a plane owned by the U.S. Air Force. They also run reconnaissance flights into hurricanes and tropical systems, and they work concurrently with a NOAA, so they both do it. They're separate entities, but they both feed data to the National Hurricane Center, which is used to provide better and most up-to-date forecasts possible. So this plane, again, was there as well, in addition to the one I just showed you, but this is a Air Force plane. Basically, it's a huge plane. It's a WC-130J. They say it's like a reconfigured cargo plane. It's just huge, and the back was open for us to go into the plane. But as we went in, you can see it's again, nothing fancy in there, but certainly interesting that this is where they're flying. The Air Force is flying these planes into the middle of hurricanes. Really fascinating. The man in the left-hand center portion of the screen, he is a pilot. I spoke with him for a while. He's also a meteorologist. He graduated from Florida State, so he has a real interest in tropical weather, but he is also the pilot of this airplane. So it's really cool to talk to him. Just behind him, looks like a cubicle. You can barely detect it, but there's very little actual cubicle space where there are workstations, and that is one of them, and that is for the meteorologist who is doing the scientific research and stuff when they're going into those hurricanes. All right. This is another shot of that plane, of the inside the fuselage of that plane. Again, just interesting to see. This is what they're flying, and the Air Force anyway, when they're flying into the center of those storms. And this is another shot inside that plane. I asked them about the turbulence and stuff, and they're very much used to it. They say it's not a huge deal to them because they're used to it, but it can get very rough in flights. Certainly it's nothing I'd want to be on, I know that. This is in the cockpit of that plane, that 130J plane. It's elevated, I'll show you in a second, so you have to climb a very steep set of steps to get up into this. But one of these people in this picture was a pilot, and the other was somebody there for the tour, but they allowed us to go up into the cockpit to take a look. And there you can see this is the outside of that same plane, the Air Force plane. And notice how high the cockpit is compared to where that door is below. So whereas we came in the back of the plane, I came out that front of the plane there. And that's a very steep set of steps once you get inside and go up to where the cockpit is. So at my older age, I had to be really careful going up there. But look at how huge that airplane is. And this is a broader picture of it. Again, this is flying in the middle of hurricanes, and these will go as low as 500 to 1,000 feet above the ocean surface when they're just investigating developing storms. They're not hurricanes or tropical storms yet, but when they're investigating, they want to see what the waves in the ocean surface looks like, and they can estimate winds based on that, how much breakers they are and such, that sort of thing. So they fly these flights very low altitude in those very early stages of a storm system, and these big prop planes, these giant planes like this, are able to do that at very low velocities. They told me 210 kilometers per hour is the kind of the sweet spot for the speed they fly these, because anything faster, it can get too rough, and anything slower than that, it would be very rough as well. So that seems to be the sweet spot where they don't feel quite as much of the turbulence when they're flying, especially in more mature weather systems that are actually tropical storms or hurricanes. But that's just a fascinating shot of that plane. This is the back of the plane again, where we walked into the plane, and just humongous, huge plane. And this belongs to, again, the Air Force. There's a closer up look at that door in the front. If you look real closely, you can see that steep set of steps in there. That goes up to where the cockpit is up above. All right, and that's the one I had to be real careful walking down those after I went up there. So that's it. Just wanted to share some of these pictures. It's a very cool day out at Norfolk International today. This is at one of the hangars there. It belongs to the Signature Terminal building, and it was just great. Lots of people there. And meet and greets, that sort of thing, and just wonderful to be able to see these planes up close and inside and get the tours, talk to the crews of these planes. They really do such an awesome job, and thankful that they do it. Also, it was great to see students there. There were buses and buses of school students coming through for tours, and they heard direct presentations from these crew members of these planes. So it was fascinating for them, and also a great learning experience and a fun day for them as well. Thanks for checking this out.